Now, often I take some time to try to explain to you how the sausage is made. And just like they say, how the sausage is made is kind of uncomfortable and you never really want to know what the ingredients are. I'm going to show a version of that tonight because I, like most, if not all people who talk about politics for a living, we rely on polls to try to give us an idea of whether things are trending this way or trending that way. Now, I don't see them as absolute signs down to the 0.5% about what the actual thoughts are of people, but again, certainly general trends. Now, as you know, the polls have been telling us something rather consistently for the past few months, and that's been kind. They've been telling us this for at least a year. But among other things, when it comes to cost of living, people's opinions are turning hard against the federal government. Again, Sydney Morning Herald, Channel 9 newspapers, not part of what we do here and often highly critical of what we do here. So we show you their polling, as well as News Poll, as well as the Morgan poll, as well as the Essential poll. We try to show you all of these different polls so, again, we can have a conversation based off data, not just off vibes. And the same company, but a different version, the Financial Review, we showed you last night, that on the issue of cost and standard of living, it is the Liberal Party that is leading 36 to 27. The Labor Party has lost 9 points on this issue since the last election, when, of course, they were promising to do something about cost of living. But interestingly, there was another poll, which again I often quote, and I will later in the program this evening, which is the Essential poll. I like when they start to really get into the granular details and you're able to even look, and they publicly source their information, of which I appreciate, which is that they publicly will show us not just the headline numbers, but then they'll show you the demographics about which age group and which gender group and political lines. It gets complicated if you want to go and have a look. But of course, this was the mob who put out the opinion poll, and then is published in The Guardian. The Guardian, of course, is where one of the Prime Minister's 11 personal media staff used to come from. Old mate Catherine Murphy, not just doing the job for Labor in The Guardian or on the Insiders program. She's now decided to go and do it inside the Prime Minister's office. Well, she would be very happy at what her old alumni published today, because they published a list of questions relating to what issues you ranked the parties on. Now, you will notice that a quick glance at the colour chart is that the Labor Party is leading on all of these issues. But what are the issues that they decided to focus on? Delivering the transition of renewable energy, support the public's health, representing our interests globally, keeping the public safe, or planning for the future like AI. What's missing? Oh, that's right, the number one issue in the country, cost of living. Now, that either means that they forgot, unlikely, or they deliberately chose not to ask that question because they couldn't quite trust what the answer was. Now, in fairness, the polling by Essential, I believe, is generally pretty good. But when they turn around and list all of the issues, but they leave off the number one issue in the country, well, maybe I'm just jumping the gun. Perhaps they're doing a whole poll on it in 2 weeks' time. But when the results is tumbleweeds on the biggest issue in the country, yet every other poll shows that the government is below water level, is it unfair to say that they knew which question to ask, or more importantly, not to ask, because they thought they might see a different answer?